what I'm going to show you are a couple examples of some things that I've seen on a map. So right here is called cardinal directions. Okay, cardinal directions are north, east, south, and west, and then the compass rose. Okay, so the compass rose is this thing right here. It says north, east, south, west. A lot of times it's like arrows or it's triangles or it's something kind of pointy. And you can put the other directions in there too, like northeast or southeast or northwest. Things like that can go in there too, but you will see this on most maps. And I do want you to include this on your treasure map. Okay, now it doesn't have to look like this. It doesn't have to be pointy. It doesn't have to have like arrows or anything like that. Like if you're doing a themed map, I've seen people do it like with dog bones before. So it's like little bones that say north, east, south, west. Or I've seen people do it with like curvy lines and squiggly lines. And I'll show you some examples of that in just a moment. But I do want you to have the cardinal directions, which are north, east, south, and west, and the compass rose on your map. In second grade, all of these slides that I'm showing you right now are also in your Schoology folder for today. So if you need to go back and look at them, they're already uploaded into Schoology. Okay. Another thing, and I think this is kind of what Ava was talking about, this is called a map key, a map key. So what this does is shows the audience or the person looking at the map what some things might be. So example, if you look at the red arrow where I have pointing right here, we talked about with our treasure maps, normally when you look at a treasure map, an X marks the spot where the treasure is, right? But on this specific map, if you were looking at this map key and you saw an X, instead of thinking it was a treasure, you would know that it was an airport. Okay. Or on this one over here where it has like this little rainbow shape and it says cave, to me, if I didn't know that that was supposed to be a cave and I saw that on a map, I might think it was a rainbow. I might think it was a bridge. I might think it was like, I don't even know what I would think it was because to me, it doesn't look like a cave. But on the map key, you would know that that's a cave because you can look at the picture and you can read it. Okay, same with like gumdrop swamp. Like if I saw those little dots and those little lines, I would never think to myself, oh, that's a gumdrop swamp. But now I know it is because of the map key. Okay, now I am not requiring you to have a map key if you don't feel like it's necessary for your map, but I do think sometimes it can be really helpful to tell your audience what they're looking at. Okay, so we've got the compass rose like this, north, east, south, west, and we've got a map key. Okay, the next couple slides, I'm just going to show you some examples of a map. Ella, did you have a question? I can see your hand is up. You can unmute yourself.
Never eat sour watermelon and never eat soggy waffles.
Perfect. I love that you brought that up. I love that you're still learning that. I learned in school that it was never eat soggy waffles. So north, east, south, west. But whatever way it helps you remember, that's awesome.
Too.
Perfect. So we'll go with never eat soggy waffles. I love it. All right, let's put ourselves all back on mute and I'm going to show you some examples. Okay, I will get to questions in just a moment. I'm going to keep going through some examples and see if I answer your question. Okay, so this is what we were talking about earlier. It has all the dashed lines and then the X on it. So you can see on this first map up here, there's black dashed lines that go all the way around the little river. There's a skull and crossbones. There's some mountains, kind of like what we were talking about with landmarks. And then there's a big red X with a treasure chest next to it to mark the spot. Okay, over on the bottom picture where I have my big arrow, that is a compass rose. And they even added in the other directions too. So we see never eat soggy waffles. And then we see northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest. You don't have to do all of them, but if you want to do a big compass rose like that, you can. And again, you can see the dashed line with the X at the end, and they added a lot of things. So they have like a swamp, and they have a spider, and they have a monster, and they have some things in the water and a pirate ship. So you can add things like that too. Okay, I'm going to keep going through some examples and I have some things circled on here for you. So again, never eat soggy waffles, compass rose with the cardinal directions here. We've got a really cool treasure chest over here that I wanted to point out to you. And then this one also has a title. So if you would like to title your island, that would be super awesome. I've seen like Mystery Island before or Treasure Island, and this one's called Unknown Island, which is kind of fun. Okay, and theirs is really cool because it looks like you get off of a ship and then you go through some palm trees, you go through a like carousel or a roller coaster here, you go through a big wave, a desert, you could do quicksand. There's lots of options for maps, okay? Now, another option for your map, you can see the last few that I've shown you are kind of random shapes. These islands are just like This person just took their pencil and kind of made a random shape. Okay, another option for you though, friends, is to make it look like something. So this one is a scorpion, and the scorpion tail is actually where the treasure is. So you have to go through all of these things to get to the treasure. Again, I circled the compass rose. There's some monsters in the water. But if you would like to theme your island, for example, I had a student last year do Candy Island. And so their whole thing was shaped like a candy cane. And then their compass rose was also candy canes. So they had one candy cane up and down for north south and one candy cane side to side for east west. So if you wanted to theme your island like something and shape it like something, that's an option too. This one is called Cat's Island. This one also is themed, but instead of doing like a cat head, which I would personally think is what Cat Island would look like, they did a cat eye, which is a little bit hard to see at first. But if you really look at it, you can tell that it's in the shape of an eye. And then the water is coming in and making kind of like the colored part of your eye. And then the inside of it is where the treasure map is. And again, they have a lot of really cool things, some mountains, some forests, compass rose, things like that. And keep going. Again, these are just more examples. You can have monsters in the water. This one has mountains. It has a treasure chest. It has a shovel, a lake. So really cool things. I want you to try to be as creative as you can. Again, here's another one. This one has a title at the top as well. You have to get through some monsters to be able to get through the treasure. It has a compass rose on it. It has the dashed line with the X marks the spot. Okay, and I think that is the last example I have. Okay. So it looks like we do have a little bit of time to kind of get started on our sketching. And then what I'm going to do, friends, is I'll end the Zoom meeting and then you can continue working. And then when we meet again tomorrow morning, we are going to keep working on our sketches and we'll have a little bit of a work day in class, okay? This is not going to be your final island because what I want you to do first is try to think of things you want to add. Think of what you want it to look like. This is what we call planning in art, or it's called sketching. Okay, so it's not your final drawing. It's not what you are going to turn into me for your final project, but it's what you're going to do to get started. So you can see, I actually did my project on the app Autodesk Sketchbook. If you know what that is and you know how to use that, you may use that if you would like. Tomorrow, if you want me to go through kind of how to use that and some of those features, I can go through that with you. Otherwise, what I like to do with my sketching, just because I like physical art where you can actually see it and touch it, is I just take a white piece of paper and a pencil, and all I do is start planning. So I think I just kind of want to make my island a random shape. So I just start with a random shape, and then I think about things I want to add. I think about if someone found my map on an island, what do I want them to have to do to get to this awesome treasure, right? Like it should be pretty hard. If you're going to get this crazy gold in this treasure, I want to make sure that my person is going through a lot of things. So mountains or quicksand or monsters. And if you would like to, you can also use labels. I think some of these examples that I had, yep, they have some labels on them too. So you can look, it says clumsy cliff and it says menacing mountains and risky ridge. So if you want to, you can also label your things. So I did Cat Eye Lake, I did Nose Mountain, Mouth River. So if you'd like to start labeling things, you can do that as well. But again, this is just a planning and a sketching day. Okay, so I see, Eleanor, you have a question. You can unmute your mic.
Is our treasure map going to lead to real treasure?
Well, I wish it did. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but hey, maybe in some world, in some universe, your treasure map is real.
My
All right, I
treasure
see
map is
Audrey.
real my treasure map is real in this world because I'm making a map to my park and it has a lot of sand in it and I like digging in it and putting things in it.
Awesome, and that's great too. You can do that.
Stones and stuff, and sometimes we dig up stuff there.
Beautiful.
I'm going to build a real treasure chest and put real gold in it.
Well, there you go. That is an option for sure. All right, let's have our mics muted. I see that Ella is raising her hand. Yes, Ella?
How did they make the paper brown?
Oh, good question. I am going to give you the option when we do our actual final project. If you have like brown construction paper, or if you have a paper bag from the grocery store, that will be an option for you to do your final map on. But because we're just doing our sketching right now, we're just going to use a white piece of paper. So I'll talk about that a little bit more once we get to our final version. But thank you for asking, Ella.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to explain what your job is one more time, and then if you have a couple more questions, you can stay on. Otherwise, after I'm done talking and I say goodbye, you are welcome to log off and get to work. Okay, so again, if you don't remember all the things that you need to include, or if you would like to look at some examples of those treasure maps, if you go onto Schoology in the folder Especiales, in the folder Art, it says Day 2, October 6th, and it is orange. If you click on that, there is a little page that says Directions and Slides. And if you click on that, it will tell you your directions for the day, and it will also have all of the slides that I just showed you, so you can go and look at them for examples, okay? All you're doing today, we're not going to be coloring today, okay? You don't need to completely finish it today. You can just get a start on it, start to maybe get some ideas down. If you even just want to write some words down to make a list of ideas, you can do that too. Because tomorrow, when we come back into Zoom, we're going to have a little bit of a work day where we can continue planning our island and really get our ideas out there, and we can talk as a group too and kind of share what we're thinking for our maps, okay? It can be a shape of something, it can be a random shape. You need to have your cardinal directions and your compass rose. You could have your map key. You can start labeling things, you can start drawing things in there, and it will start to kind of look like this. So all I have right now is my shape, but I could do a title and start adding some things in there. So as I answer some questions, I'm going to add some things in. Dylan, I see your hand is up. You may unmute yourself, friend.
Today's my dad's birthday.
Amazing. Well, happy birthday to your dad. October 6th is a good day. All right, so here's my example again. Now I added in some mountains, and then I can start adding in more things, okay? So it looks like a lot of you have already gotten started, which is awesome. All right, are there any other questions before we head off and have some work time?